Hey, kindred spirits. Good morning. I'm out for a walk. I really need to get walking, keep walking, and processing a lot. Reading, studying, writing, learning. So I'm out. It's a balmy 40 degrees, which is very welcome after some freezing wind screaming weeks. I'm told that what people are craving is authenticity and truth, conversation. And so to my dear kindred spirits here on Inkling Semina, I welcome Christian women of all ages to take part in the conversation. I'm thinking about ways to identify tactics and cruelty and the ways that people try to dominate and control. Just be cruel. I've been reading, studying. This is 5 ways to cope with cruelty in polite society. Scare quotes, polite society. Cruelty has been the main event in our lives for the past several years, a lot of years. So I'm always remembering that God allows what he hates to accomplish what he loves. Johnny Erickson Tada said that. She's been in a wheelchair for 50 years. So I hope we can help each other. That's my goal, to be helpful to even one person, but hopefully more. Before I talk about the specific things that have been going on in our lives for years, just know that yes, I have done the right thing and gone straight to the source and literally begged for honesty multiple times so that I could know what to repair, fix, heal. I'm just dismissed and have it called drama. I'm not talking about just any random relationship. I'm talking about deep family relationships dealing with a lot of grief and hurt. So yes, I've tried, yet it continues. So I'm still working through it, learning and growing through it, because God allows this, and we're to learn from it and not waste the pain. So, is it sounding familiar? Can you relate? Let's talk about how to deal with profound cruelty. I mean, I thought we were well acquainted with it after some really horrible years. But nope, cruelty said, hold my beer. So we have gone through years and years of constant, arbitrary poking and prodding and picking and humiliating and controlling and correction and narration, constant domination. And yes, you try, you turn the other cheek forever, for years and years. And it's funny, it's always the youngest of the whole bunch. With a few exceptions, a few precious exceptions. But they're dominating every meal, every conversation, constant belittling, And it doesn't matter how much you cherish and love and give and prepare and include and make sure they're safe. Nevertheless, you're absolutely made to know that you are unworthy, right? You're replaced. You're last on the list. You're not included because of grief. It's hard to keep thoughts from being scattered, so I do have my study notes. Everyone must be outdone. Whatever the next thing is that someone does, you've got to outdo it. This is a favorite place. It's peaceful and calm and beautiful and respectful. It's a place that honors lives created in God's image. I have loved coming here for years. I think often of my experiences of the playground of government institution, grade school, junior high, high school. These are my favorite angels here. And recently, a few classmates online have been sharing how that was for them too. And it was really devastating in the ways that they were bullied. The mean girl tactics. They're nothing new. It's as old as the ages. It's not clever. And it's just sin. And it just comes natural if unchecked. So it does have devastating effects on people's lives. It brought back so many memories as we were talking about things. And how much we feel like we want to be included, we want to belong. And one time, a bunch of girls showed up at my door, and I thought, oh, how cool, they came to hang out. But they didn't. They came to ask to borrow my ID so they could all go clubbing in the city together. It's so typical. And I'm sure there's a boatload of psychobabble that explains all of this away and makes excuses for all of it, all these behaviors. I read that nearly everyone who has a degree of some sort took psych, so no wonder. But everyone is just all blink, 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 don't say anything. Polite society doesn't say anything. And so it doesn't end on the playground, does it? Nope. Even as adults, we continue to be humiliated with comments about, I don't know anybody else that size, or size 3X gifts, or you're stalked online till someone finds a picture of you from behind and comments, oh, hello. Wow. Yeah, you're made to know that you aren't acceptable. You do everything wrong. Walk wrong, talk wrong, dress wrong, cook wrong, bake wrong. Oh, I didn't know you were gonna fix it that way. I mean, even guests in your own home posture to dominate. Oh, been working out, have ya? and you're the fool, and they just blurt out not even subtle complaints as guests. It's bizarre. Familiar, right? Makes me really think, have I done this? Have I done that as a guest anywhere? Wow, I hope not, and I am sorry if I have. I mean, we experienced putting on a really special dinner party. And this was the norm, but this was a shocker. And again, really nicely prepared dinner party for someone special. And someone blurts out their own preferences for the evening. And everyone's just sitting there like looking at each other and blinking, and nobody says anything, and everybody puts up with it, and it ruins everything. Stunned silence. So you give and love and include and prepare special celebrations and holidays, set lovely tables, and they show up and dominate, and do it at everyone else's house too. Dominate the conversation, correct other people, belittle, correct other people's kiddos when the parents are right there. It's just mind-boggling. Like, have you ever set a really nice table for a really nice meal, and people show up with their Mondo implements covered with stickers for your nice table? One time I went to a tea party, and the hostess had, it was so beautiful. Every single detail. And this person showed up and put her hideous, ugly water bottle on the table. That was like, no. There needs to be a course on manners and how to be a guest. Sounding familiar? And then the funny thing is, when it becomes necessary at times to cross into their domain, you feel like you're walking the gauntlet, knowing that just by being there, you're contaminating perfection, scare quotes, perfection. The very least, the very most minimal is offered to you, if at all, to show you where you belong in the scheme of things. Knowing abundance is available for others, right? So it doesn't matter where you are, they dominate and nag, right? And it's so often done through others. Grooming, correcting, narrating, but it's meant for you to hear through them. Especially super hippie, trendy phrases that are all the rage. And food, right? Food is a major control issue, used to make a spectacle of others. Every portion and dollar, unless it's someone else's dime. And poke, and stab. Even the food is dominated, right? So there is no way to control and dominate without cruelty, because it's all tactics for control. It's the usual way. The constant grooming and bullying will be attacked viciously while we're at our lowest point, while we're in shock and grieving will be attacked with the litany of displeasures and things that offend, because they're so tolerant. No one can be left to themselves. No one can be themselves. All must walk on eggshells and comply. When in Rome, no one is supposed to say anything, because polite society, right? You just take it. Everyone is supposed to stay a chicken in the presence of the rooster. Polite society stays shut up, blinking at each other in stunned silence, all the while peck, peck, peck. And to address it is not done. Everyone knows it. Everyone talks about it in private, that that's how it is. Admitting they all walk on eggshells, but it's a threat and a dare for anybody to say anything. From the schoolyard bully to the grown dominatrix, right? A bull in a china shop of people's feelings. Everyone knows and even admits they pay to play. And they know they're picked apart when they're not present, because that's what happens to the other people. But everyone just complies, right? Why? It's to avoid the ultimate cruelties that they all absolutely know are absolutely possible. Anyone who takes the dare to stand against will pay dearly. The absolute worst is absolutely possible. And it's so sad to watch the cruel punishment, especially the breaking hearts of loved ones. That's the hardest part to watch, because they're standing strong on principle to set an example of obeying God, first and foremost, refusing to pay to play, and no matter how hard it hurts, but wow, does it hurt. And that's the hardest part. This domination over human life happens every day in that world. The constant chipping away, humiliation and blaming. Even after tons and tons has been done for them, it's never enough. No one can do enough. Help offered and offered and offered and offered and denied, and then accused of neglect. But everyone knows they can never do enough on the tit for tat scales. The drip, drip, drip of humiliation and the cruelty eventually does its work. And then on to the next, and then on to the next. This is done thousands of times a day, if you know what I mean, everywhere. It's not unique, it's not clever, it's just cruel. The doing away with, the dismissal, the removal of whatever and whomever is cramping their style. Not towing the line. Not complying. But it's not polite society to say anything or admit it or know it, even if you experience it. But allowing this behavior is not helping anyone, ever. And here are the 5 ways I have found in my recent little studies that God has made clear to deal with it and deal with the pain of it all. Because number 1, Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those that are crushed in spirit." He knows He's allowing it for a reason. He's there for you. Also, Jesus refuses to play by the rules of violence and power. Isaiah 42:3 says, "A bruised reed he will not break, and a faintly burning wick he will not quench. He will faithfully bring forth justice." And in Mark 10, there's a discussion of unjust rulers, and it ends with, "Yet it shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever of you desires to be first shall be the slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many." So we're on number 3. Know that justice and mercy lie at the very heart of God's character. When God introduces himself, justice is a key trait. "I am the Lord who exercises kindness, justice, and righteousness on the earth, for in these I delight." Jeremiah 9:24. "I am the God who shows no partiality and accepts no bribes." Deuteronomy 10:17 and 18. God will bring into judgment the righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity and a time to judge every deed. And I know that includes mine. The Lord will judge. He is a just, holy, righteous, not just loving God. Number 4, find comfort. Knowing that God is there from the beginning to the end, he will deal accordingly. God will judge accordingly. Eternity is forever, and we should obey God and not bullies. Stand strong for truth. Even knowing that you may pay dearly here on earth. They know what they're doing, and they're without excuse. Romans 1:19. "For what can be known about God is plain to them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in all the things that have been made." So they are without excuse. That's what it says. We all are. We're all without excuse. And that includes allowing, partaking in that behavior. It helps no one. Yes, we're supposed to turn the other cheek and be patient, but eventually it's so much more than that. So with God, when he allows things, we become living proof that we can take a knife to the heart over and over, and knives in our back, and keep standing. So we risk love in relationships, and all because you let someone get to know you and find out how they could hurt you the very most, and when they could kick you the hardest in the most painful parts that they've discovered, right? And the funny thing is, funny, peculiar, not funny, haha, is you do turn the other cheek. You do be kind and generous and loving and inclusive. And the whole time, we must listen ad nauseum to all of this correction, belittling, disrespect for years and years and years. We be useful, we are supply, we're convenient, but they have a huge, high, thick wall, and you do not even touch that wall, or you are instantly labeled toxic or dangerous and blocked. Try to have an honest conversation, sharing that you love them, you're trying to fix things, heal things. That's not allowed. But all the years you turned the other cheek and took it. All the suggesting, coercion, correction, manipulating. And so you're left, and it's pretty lonely, but we keep on, right? We keep reading, learning, studying, writing, documenting, journaling. And sweet things happen in the middle of it all. The sweet, sweet people who do know exactly what's going on reach out and offer comfort. And it's such a blessing. It's definitely okay to be humbled and crushed and rejected and hurt. God allows it for a purpose. Humbling is a good thing. And we shouldn't waste the pain at all. Don't waste the pain. Stand strong, because courage is contagious. Often remind some of my dearest loved ones that the reason it hurts so bad, sorry, is because they have a heart of flesh and not a stone cold heart. So I hope that helps you too if you've been through a lot of all of this same behavior. So pretty out here. A beautiful day, finally. What a blessing. So we're to stand firm in truth. And our truth is not our own. It's not arbitrary. It's not whims, random whims. It's not just doing it as a control tactic to be constantly, non-stop correcting, belittling, arbitrarily. No, the standards we stand strong for are God's standards. A fixed moral compass, a fixed point of reference outside of ourselves. So stay strong, stay in the Word. Be sure it's a faithful translation. This is pretty. So I'm here in one of my favorite places that's reverent and honors lives created in God's image. Join in the conversation. If you have comments, your favorite scriptures, your favorite helps, advice, and you are a Christian woman of any age, you are welcome to join the conversation. Bye. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for being here.